We set goals based on what we think we can achieve versus what it is that we really want. We fail to dream. We stop dreaming. And that's sad to me. And when I say dream, because sometimes I don't like using the word dream because it's like, it's not really going to happen. Hey, welcome back to the Strong Beauty Method podcast. I am your host, Lydia Martinez Ebling, and this is the go-to spot for every woman over 40 to learn about getting healthy, fit, strong, and confident in their own skin. One of the things I always say is aging is inevitable, but aging poorly is not. And my mission is to help you thrive through it all. So I've been mulling things over, and I was like, this is what we need to do for this episode. That's so blanket, right? We're coming up on that time of the year. I know, especially for me and Ryan, my husband, we start to take inventory of the past year. Things that we're happy with, things that we, maybe lessons that we needed to learn. And then looking into the following year, okay, what are we going to do? What do we want to do? What do we want to accomplish? So I wanted to dedicate this episode, and it might be a couple episodes, I don't know, because I'm trying to, keep my episodes to like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. Because honestly, once I start talking, especially when I'm teaching about nutrition and talking about goals and just like hormones, it's just conversations, fitness, fasting, there's conversations that I could just keep going and going and going because there's so many layers. It's not just like black and white. And very much like women, we're not just black and white. And as we start to mature, we really learn that, right? There's so many different things. When I say we start to mature, we start go through those changes, environmental changes, physical changes, all the things. But anyway, I want to talk about goals, and I'm going to talk about what we call our go-to and laying the right foundation. And over some of the episodes, I scratched the surface just talking about goals when it comes to like health and fitness and talking about the scale. And one of the things that I've said, and I don't think honestly, like when I went back and listened to it, and I can't completely remember, but I was like, when I talked about New Year's resolution, I don't think I was completely clear in what I was trying to say. So I want to talk about that, okay? So let's talk about our go-to. Go-to is something that we teach our women when they come into our Hormone Reset Club or even into our Hormone Reset 101, into our VIP transformation community. It's all talking about your go-to. And so I'll get to that in a second. But going back to like setting goals, we're going to talk about not just setting goals, but how do we achieve those goals? And let's talk about New Year's resolution, because we're coming up on that time of the year where we start setting and saying things like, I want to get fit. I want to get healthy. I want to drop X amount of pounds. I want to start working out more. I want to start eating better. I want to earn more income. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to stop doing whatever. And we have these blanket statements that are really kind of like, well, it'd be nice if. And one of the things I said in a past episode is that people always talk about New Year's resolutions don't work, so don't set them. And New Year's resolutions do work. However, there's a reason why so many people fail at their New Year's resolutions. It's not the resolution, because when you resolve to do something, you make a decision. But it's us not thinking about the process. So we're kind of like, yeah, I want to lose 30 pounds. Yeah, I want to balance my hormones. Yeah, I want to feel better in my skin and more confident in my clothes and get rid of the mood swings, the hot sweats, the night flashes, or it's hot flashes and night sweats. The foggy thinking, the brittle hair, the ruddy skin, whatever, all the things that come or that can come with aging. So I'm talking about goals and New Year's resolutions, and I'm just going to frame it when it comes to health and fitness. And we know that in the beginning of the year, everybody sets that goal to be healthier. And then, you're going into the gym, it's packed, it's crazy, all the things. And then 14 days later, 3 weeks later, then it's like a ghost town. People aren't following through because we don't think about the process. We don't lay the proper foundation. A couple of things that come to mind. One of my favorite quotes is by Jim Rohn. He says, "Debt and regret weighs tons, but discipline weighs ounces." And we have this big idea what discipline thing means. Understanding, some people will say, "I don't have the discipline," but you do. Everybody has the same amount of motivation and discipline. It's really identifying what it is that you truly want. So there's another thing that people will say. When the why is right, the how will come. Well, kinda. Because your why is right. You really want to lose the weight. You really want to get healthy. You really want to stop doing X, Y, or Z because it's not supporting you on your health journey, and it's not, improving your quality of life. But we fail to think about the process on what it really takes to achieve what it is that you want. Now, next part of that, it's that then we think that we got to do all these things in order, and it's got to be really hard and it's got to be really strict in order to get those results. And that's not true either. So New Year's resolutions do work, but you have to figure out what it is that you want, why you want it, how is it going to make a difference? Then you say, okay, what about the process? Am I willing to follow through on the process? Do I even know what the process is? And then what do I want the process to look like? So getting healthy, getting fit, it's not always going to be easy, but it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be painful. We have this idea that restriction is the only way to go, that you have to cut everything out to get the results that you want, that your health and fitness journey, it's not going to taste good, it's not going to feel good. It's all going to be pain. And that's not true. And that's a whole, I don't want to go on that rabbit trail right this second. But thinking about what it is that you want and thinking about the process and what do you want it to look like? So let's go back to setting that resolution or setting that goal and thinking about the process. Because normally what happens, like I said, we have these blanket statements. The blanket statement of, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to get fit, I want to stop, eating crap or drinking so much soda or drinking so much beer or wine or smoking or whatever. You can fill in the blank. And really what it looks like, that's just so blanket, right? I want to get healthy. And I talked about it before. What does that mean? What does healthy look like? What does eating better for you look like? I always say this because my definition of healthy and your definition of healthy is going to be different. It doesn't mean that mine's better. It just means that it's different because I'm on a different part of the journey. I have different commitment levels. Again, it doesn't mean that I'm better. It's just because I'm on a different part of the journey. Got it? So as you start to progress in your journey, your commitment change, your education change, things that you're willing to do and not do will always change. Timing. So thinking about what it is that you want and having a full description of that, but not only that, or hold on a second, because here's what happens. And I've seen it so many times before, remember I've been doing this for a long time. And we have this emotion that happens, like I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm never eating anything fattening ever again. And I'm going to work out every day, 3 hours a day for the rest of my life. I'm motivated on Monday. By Friday, you peter out. Or New Year's, you start, and then 14 days later, it's like, it's not worth it. Because you don't think about the process. You think just, I have to go hard, and you have to squeeze the sand. You can't squeeze sand. So then you get frustrated and you quit. You throw your hands up and it's not going to work for me. This is no fun. I'm not getting any results. It's not happening fast enough. You're not thinking about the process. Because, and what's the process? Looking at your life and say, okay, what are you willing to do and not do in order to achieve the results? But let's rewind. What are you willing to do and not do? Because think about your life. I'm going to work out. I'm not going to eat anything fattening ever again. Is that realistic? No. Am I going to work out every day, 3 hours a day for the rest of my life? No. Is that realistic? No, right? Then because then what happens is you set up these high levels of restriction, not thinking things through, and say, well, then all of a sudden you start, doing the backstroke. You're like, well, on Fridays it's pizza night with the family, and then on Tuesday I have bowling league with the gang, and that's something that I've been doing forever, and it's my de-stressing time, and then on Sunday, well, that's the Lord's Day, and then so we got to get together for our Sunday brunch. And I'm not saying that you can't do those things, but you don't think those things through before crafting your plan. And that's why when you set a New Year's resolution, when you don't think things through and think about the process, you fail. So my whole goal in this session is to help you not fail going into this new year, to start really thinking about your goals and crafting that plan. What's another quote? We don't plan to fail, we simply fail to plan. So we got to lay the right foundation. One of the things that we tell all our ladies, right? There's a lot of things we tell our ladies. And when they start with within our Hormone Reset Club, it's the first part is laying the right foundation. Figuring out what is your go-to. What's your go-to? Your goals, your obstacles, your tactics and tools, and then the outcome. So let's talk about laying the right foundation. All right, debt and regret weighs tons, but discipline weighs ounces. This is what we're going to do. We're going to slow down to speed up. We're going to get things organized. And it doesn't mean that you have to take weeks to do it. It's figuring out what's going on that needs to be cleaned up. Do I need to clean up my kitchen? I need to clean up my environment. I need to clean up my head. I always say messy environment, messy mind. So laying the right foundation. What's your goal? What is your goal? What is it that you truly want? And I've shared this before. I feel like so many women, this is what I've seen, okay? It's number one, we set goals based on what we think we can achieve versus what it is that we really want. We fail to dream. We stop dreaming. And that's sad to me. And when I say dream, because sometimes I don't like using the word dream because it's like, it's not really going to happen. It's like we're making a wish. But thinking about what it is that we really want, they're not setting goals to what they truly want. They set it to what they feel they can achieve. And the reason they set it to what they feel that they can achieve, because they're in their mind, they're constantly going back to mistakes. And I'm using the air quotes. I'll use the air quotes a lot. You'll learn that from me. But they're not really mistakes. It's because they did this program and they did well, but then they stopped and they gained weight back and some. Or every time they do a program, they do good for a little while and then they go off the wagon. And some of you say, man, I didn't go off the wagon. I completely fell off the wagon and the wagon ran me over and then ran me over again to make sure that it actually got me that time. Right? And it's so we're constantly going back to things that we think that were failures and didn't work. And so now you're like, well, Lydia, I know you. You're talking to yourself. You're going, Patty, you know you, Patty. Yeah, you want to lose the weight and you're willing to work out and you're willing to eat right, but you always do this. Does that sound familiar? In your mind, you're playing that tape. So that's the reason, right? That's one thing with our goals. Second thing is that we really haven't been taught to set goals. Some women. I mean, I know for me, or maybe I don't know, maybe been taught. For me, when I was in my 20s and started into the network marketing industry, that's when I was really exposed to goals. And it was so just it opened up my world. And it's not that I always say, well, I really wasn't taught to set goals. I don't know if I was taught. I don't know if I was rambunctious and ADD and too busy playing all the time to pay attention to other people. So I don't know if I was actually taught or did I just ignore the information, right? But a lot of times what we see is women, they just don't even think about setting goals when it comes to their health and their fitness. They think it's just like something you do. And they just try to do it, like I said, the hard way of like, I'm just not going to eat anything fattening. I'm only going to eat vegetables. I'm going to do the juice cleanse, whatever, all the things, and not get anywhere. And then the third part of it is you stop setting goals, as I already alluded to. You stop setting goals because you feel you're past helping, or you're going back and playing in your mind, well, Lydia, well, Patty, well, Susan, well, Sally, you always do this, so don't even bother. So we got to clear that slate. When the why is right, the how will come. Let's figure out the what first, and then we'll talk about the why. The what is it? What is it that you want? If time, money, resources, your environment was not an issue, what is it, when it comes to your health and your fitness, what is it that you want? What is that definition of healthy to you? And so what does that mean? Because people say, I want to lose 30 pounds. Why do you want to lose 30 pounds? So figuring out what it is that you want, and then why do you want it? How is it going to make a difference in your life? Because really, it's not about the goal per se. It's not about accomplishing the goal. It's who we become in part of the journey. Because your goal, when it comes to anything, whether it's your business as an entrepreneur, your health, your fitness, your family life, if it's not helping, if the journey is not making you a better person, then what is it? So think about what it is that you want. What is it that you want your health and your body to look like? It means that I go to bed and I'm not wired and tired, that I feel exhausted, but in a good way. And I go to sleep and I stay asleep. I'm not waking up every couple hours, or I'm not waking up with night sweats. And then I wake up in the morning and I feel completely energized because I had a good night's sleep and my joints aren't aching and my hair looks great. My skin looks great. I look in the mirror and I feel confident. I feel good because I like what I see because I'm taking care of myself. It's not about the perfection. It's that I'm taking care of me and I'm starting to see the changes. And I'm feeling the changes. I'm sleep better, more energy, more focus. I'm happier. My mood swings are lower. Again, my joints aren't hurting. I don't have dark circles under my eyes. I'm starting to see definition, whatever it might be. What is it that you want to see? What is that goal? What do you want your body to look like? And a lot of times people get all hung up on this of like, because everything's about body positive these days, and you should be. That's why it's the strong beauty method. And you deserve to be a strong beauty. Healthy, fit, strong, and confident in your skin. But it doesn't mean that it's okay to have excess body fat because it's not healthy. We know that. We know it's not okay to eat crap food, processed, highly palatable food all the time. We know it's not okay to not move and not strength train. This is not a judgment when it comes to your health and your fitness, because I don't care what size you are. I care that you're healthy. I care that you're happy. And health is about looking at, are you at higher risk for heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, all of these things. And we know when we're not taking care of ourselves, we are at higher risk. On top of, we're at higher risk when we start going through hormonal decline. So what does healthy look like for you? What is that definition? The body, what do you want your body to look like? And it's okay to love your body. Like I gave the example of when I hit 49, going into 50, I said, I want to be in the best shape of my life. What I felt for me didn't mean that I didn't love my body. Didn't mean I didn't love who I was. I just wanted the challenge, and I wanted to be a woman that inspired other woman at the same age to feel healthy, fit, strong, and confident in their own skin by taking care of themselves. That this is the best decade yet. That was part of it, okay? So what do you want your body to look like? What do you want to feel like? What is it, the goal? What's the goal that you want? And then why do you want it? That's the key. Why do you want it? How is it going to make you better? What is it going to do for your life? What is it going to do for your health? And you know, sometimes it's not about the health. Sometimes it's not about the positive things that it's going to bring to your life. What do I mean? It's the cost of inaction. If you do not hit your goal, what it is that you say, well, if you don't lose the 30 pounds, if you don't get your cholesterol down, if you don't get your hormones balanced, if you don't drop the body fat, if you don't start working out, what is that inaction going to cost you? You're going to have brittle bones, you're going to lose muscle, you're still going to have the mood swings and the hot flashes and the night sweats and the brain fog and the low to no libido to poor quality of life, miserable, flabby, saggy, frail, and fat. Man, that's brutal, right? But think about it. What is the inaction going to cost you? So what is your goal? What goal do you want? And then what's the inaction, right? What is it? How is it going to make your life better? How is it going to make your relationships better? How is it going to make your business better? How is it going to make you better? Because for me, and I've shared this before, is this, 49 into 50, and I felt great. I looked great. I felt great. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I mean, I was just really happy with my results. And I wasn't perfect, right? I just was zoned in. And but at the end of the year, when I hit 50, I'm kind of now what? Because it was the journey. It was so cool to see my body shift and then share my experience with everyone and share my workouts with everyone and what I noticed on a workout and my thought process and just all the things. So it was all about the journey for me. And then once I hit the goal, it was kind of oh, that's cool. It's great. Yay. I feel confident. But then now what? What's the next level? So think about that. What is it that you truly want? Why is it that you want it? How is it going to make a difference? That's where we need to start. And then we have to start looking at the process. What are going to be the obstacles? What are going to be your excuses? So your goals, goals, obstacles, tools, tactics, and then outcome. So often we're setting a goal and we're really focused on the result versus the process. And the process is where we can make it enjoyable or we can make ourselves miserable. So many people come in their go into their health journey or their fitness journey, and you can be really excited about the process, or you can be really just defiant and ambivalent. And I hate tracking. I hate working out. I hate eating vegetables. And make everything an issue. And if you make everything an issue, and if you always have the mindset that it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, it's not going to be enjoyable, it will always continue to be hard and not enjoyable and difficult. So you get to define the process. But first we got to say, okay, what are the obstacles? What are the obstacles? What are your excuses? Number one, we just start filling our head with things. Well, I'm 55 now, or I'm 60, or I'm 40, and things are different. I remember years ago, Ryan and I did a consult with a couple that wanted to come into our warrior program. And in our warrior program, it's a training program, and we had for women and men, and you could come in as a couple anyway. They're like, well, we're not, they were very judgmental of the gym people. I'm like, well, that's going to be an issue if you're going to be in the gym because of their insecurity. But then they were saying, well, we're at that age where we can't do the same things and we shouldn't be doing the same things. And we're like, no. How old are you? And they were like 40, 42. And I'm like, you realize I'm like 48 right now. So you're telling me that I shouldn't be doing the workouts that I'm doing. No, you got to shift that mindset. That's an excuse. Now, there might be some things you just don't go from doing nothing to a 180 pound, 200 pound deadlift or whatever, and you might never do a deadlift. But what are you using as an obstacle and an excuse, right? So are you using your age? Are you using maybe a health issue? I have a thyroid issue, so it's going to be impossible for me to lose weight. That's a big one. Or my family, we're not going to eat like that. My kids won't eat like that. But every time I start, here's a big one. Every time I start, my family seems to get in my way, like because I've always take care of them, and my family is really important. And your family should be important. But what do you use as an obstacle, or an excuse in order not to follow through on what you need to do? That's the first thing. So what are your excuses? What's your Yahoo, whatever thought process? And I say that, everything that I say in love, okay? Because here's how it works. Our excuses and our obstacles, you might have a situation, and your situation is a fact. The fact may be that you do have a thyroid issue. The fact may be that you have type 2 diabetes right now, or you're pre-diabetic. The fact may be that you don't have a lot of time. The fact may be that you don't like to cook or meal prep. The fact may be is that, you whatever, right? Put whatever in there. It might be a fact, but does it mean that it can't change? Does it mean that you can't get results? So everything is always, one of the things you'll hear from me, everything is always figure outable. Figure outable. That's a word. Hashtag figure outable. Okay? Because your brain works that way. Once you decide, you make a decision, this is science, this is neuro whatever. Once you make a decision that you want to do something, then your brain starts to look for the process on how to actually get it done. But if you are over here saying it's not going to happen, then your brain is always going to look for that fear factor so you don't move forward. So you have two parts of the brain. You have parts of the brain that gets excited because you set a goal and you know it's going to be healthy for you. Then you have a part of your brain that's always going to revert back to the devil because it's security, it's safety. Even though rationally that eating whole foods and moving more and affirmations and fasting and supplementation are all good for you, your brain, part of your brain says, no, but I'm comfortable here. I don't like change. And we allow it to override if we're dealing with these obstacles or excuses that it's going to be hard. Yeah, you might have a thyroid issue. That's a fact. But are there other women? Are there other women that have a thyroid issue and still drop the body fat, still get in shape, still live a quality of life? Are there women out there that have type 2 diabetes? Are there other women that are super busy, that, are on a budget? Yes, that's the truth. So just because it's a fact doesn't mean that it's true, and it doesn't mean that things can't change. So part of your obstacle are your excuses. So you want to figure out what it is that you truly want, and then really start to peel back the layers of why do you want them? How is it going to make your body, how is it going to make your life better? And then the next part of that is figuring out your excuses. I have a hair on my lip. Okay, there we go. Figuring out your excuses, your obstacles. So it's not just excuses, but really saying, okay, what are the things that you've used in the past? What are the things that you've done in the past? And write it down. Is it a fact? Is it a belief? Or is it the truth? Meaning, can it change? See, because something can be true and something can be the truth. What do I mean? Just because it's true doesn't mean that it can't change. But the truth means it doesn't change. Does that make sense? Truth is that you do have a thyroid issue. That's a fact. Your belief is that you're going to have issues dropping the weight and getting in shape, and nothing's going to happen for you because of it. But the truth is, say I had that backwards, sorry, but the truth is that other women have already accomplished that same issue as you. So it might be, that's the truth. Truth. Does that make sense? I know I kind of mixed that up there, but something that's true doesn't change. Like the sun sets from what to what? East to west, west to east. Is that ever going to change? That's the idea. But the truth can change as the environment changes, as information changes, as our actions change. And this is really important. Why is this so important? Because if you go through these two things of go to, and I'm going to wrap it up here, go to goals, obstacles, tools and tactics, and then outcome, the measure, monitor, adjust part of it. But just the two parts, you're going to succeed. You're going to succeed because you're getting through all the fluff. Figuring out what are your excuses and then what are the obstacles? Is it the budget? Is it your time? Is it your family? Is it the resources? Is it the lack of know-how? All of those things can be adjusted. Because when you start moving to the process, if you figure out all of these things, writing them down, what are the excuses? What are the obstacles? What do you need to overcome? Then you can make a realistic plan based on what it is that you want, instead of just going in and just trying to make things hard and just mustering through it. Like I said, you're trying to squeeze sand without thinking things through. Get it? Got it? Good. All right. So I'm going to do another episode, okay? But I just want to wrap this up right here. I want to challenge you to really think about your goals going into this latter part of the year and then going into our new year, what it is that you want for your health. You deserve to be healthy, fit, strong, and confident in your own skin. So define what it is that you truly want. What do you want your health to look like? What do you want your body to look like? And then what excuses, obstacles do you need to overcome? And get real, and then we'll move from there. Now, you want more help, you want more assistance, you want to be part of a positive community that can keep you on track and show you the know-how in order to start balancing your hormones, burning that body fat, and taking back your life. Well, check out my resources in the show notes, but you can go to our hormoneresetclub.com. Join us in the club. I go into even more in depth when it comes to laying the right foundation, to, just setting your body up so you can be healthy, fit, strong, and confident in your own skin. I mean, we have it all laid out. And then I'm going to wrap up. Guys, as always, I really appreciate you. I truly appreciate you. Take a couple seconds, leave a review, download, share it with your friends so we can make a big difference together to all women that are over 40 that are ready just to take control of their health and make it the best chapter of their life, okay? And in the beginning, one of the things I said, aging, and I say it all the time, aging is inevitable. Aging poorly is not, but I'm going to shift it here. Aging is inevitable, but aging poorly is a choice. And hopefully we can help you where it doesn't have to be one. Make sense? All right. Have an amazing time. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Love ya. Bye.